Welcome back, everyone, to the NPC Energy podcast. Have you ever looked at, the super rich, the really famous people, and just felt like they're operating on a completely different level?
Yeah, like the usual rules just don't quite apply.
Exactly. Like they just glide through everything. Scandals bounce off. Investments always hit gold. It gets you thinking, right? Are they using some kind of secret developer mode in reality?
Or maybe it's more like a VIP package. Some premium subscription with benefits.
That's precisely where we're headed on our simulated journey today. We're diving into that exact possibility. Developer mode. VIP access in this reality.
It's a fascinating thought experiment.
And we've got some listener submissions, too. Some really weird observations you sent in that kind of make you think the code of reality might be a bit glitchy sometimes.
Oh, I'm looking forward to those. Those first-hand accounts always add a different layer.
Definitely. But first, we need a bit of background, some philosophical groundwork. People have wondered about reality forever, but some newer ideas really kick things off.
Like Nick Bostrom's simulation argument back in 2003.
That's the one. It's pretty foundational for this whole conversation.
His basic idea is, well, if some advanced civilization could run ancestor simulations, basically, simulating people like us, and honestly, technology seems headed that way.
Right. Seems plausible eventually.
And then they probably run loads of them, like a massive number.
And that leads to his big trilemma, the three possibilities.
He argues one of these has to be the case.
Possibility one. Civilizations almost always, destroy themselves before they get that advanced simulation tech. Boom, game over.
Pessimistic, but possible. Number two, they get the tech, but for whatever reason, they just choose not to run simulations. Maybe ethical concerns, maybe boredom, who knows?
Okay. Or option three.
Option three is the kicker. If 1 and 2 aren't true, then statistically, we are almost certainly living inside one of those simulations right now.
Because there would just be so many simulated realities compared to the one base reality.
Exactly. The sheer numbers would make it overwhelmingly likely that we're in a simulation, assuming advanced civilizations do exist and do run them.
Wow. Okay. And a big part of this hinges on substrate independence, right?
Yeah, that's a crucial bit. The idea that consciousness, our minds, aren't necessarily stuck in our biological brains.
Like it could run on a computer. Or something else.
Potentially, yes.
Yeah.
Any system complex enough. If consciousness isn't tied to biology, then running it in a simulation seems, well, less impossible.
It connects to that physicist John Wheeler, his it from bit idea.
Precisely. Wheeler suggested that information might be the most fundamental thing in the universe. Everything comes from information, from bits.
Which makes a reality built on information processing like simulations sound a bit less sci-fi, doesn't it?
It certainly makes it conceptually more plausible.
And of course, you can't talk about this stuff without mentioning The Matrix.
No, you can't. That movie just blew the lid off these ideas for everyone. Red pill, blue pill.
Yeah.
That feeling something's just not quite right.
It really visualized it, didn't it? Took the old brain in a vat idea and gave it this huge cybernetic makeover.
Definitely updated it for the digital age.
And then there's philosopher David Chalmers. He argues that even if this is a simulation, it's still real in a way.
Yeah, his point is interesting. He says it wouldn't necessarily be an illusion. It'd just be a different kind of reality, a computational reality, maybe run by, whoever built it. Still real, with its own rule.
Okay, so if it's real, even if simulated, could there be layers, like simulations inside simulations?
That's another mind-bending possibility, the whole nesting doll scenario.
And more to our point today, does everyone get the same user experience?
Yeah.
Or do some people have perks, advantages?
Which brings us right back to those initial feelings about the super successful. Are there different tiers?
Right. Let's get into the fun stuff. If this is all a big program, could some people actually have developer mode? Like in a video game, godlike powers.
The developer mode analogy is useful for thinking about the extreme end. It means someone could literally mess with the code of reality.
Totally. Imagine just like spawning resources. Poof. Your bank balance is infinite.
Or invincibility, God mode.
Yeah.
No consequences, scandals just evaporate.
Yeah. Or changing the rules themselves. Toggling gravity, ignoring laws, rewriting your own past.
Accessing hidden info, too. Seeing the code, knowing the future.
Or just walking through walls. No clip IRL. Ignoring physical barriers, social barriers.
That level of control would just completely break the game for everyone else, wouldn't it? It removes all the limits we experience.
Well, maybe that's too much, though. Too obvious. What if it's subtler? Like that VIP package idea, a premium subscription.
That's the other angle. Not rewriting the rules, but getting serious advantages within the existing rules.
Yeah, like XP boosts. You just progress faster, easier learning, quicker promotions.
Exclusive access could be a big one. Getting into networks, seeing opportunities others just don't even know exist.
Faster travel, skipping queues, everything on demand.
Increased storage. Maybe that translates to generational wealth, just the ability to accumulate way more.
Better stats, like permanent luck bonuses, higher charisma, things like that.
Or even just a regular influx of resources, like a monthly stipend in a game. Consistent advantage.
So one's like hacking the game, the other's like having a season pass with all the best gear.
That's a good way to put it. Dev mode breaks the game, VIP package lets you dominate within it.
So which model feels, well, more plausible for explaining how some people seem to sail through life?
That is the question, isn't it? Is it blatant rule breaking or just a system stacked heavily in their favor? Maybe those listener stories can give us some clues.
Right. The anonymous sources. We asked you for those moments that just felt off, and we got some interesting ones.
Let's hear them. These anecdotes, while obviously not proof, can be really suggestive.
Okay, first up, testimony. #1, the phase-shifting CEO. An intern swears they saw their CEO kind of flicker during a really tense meeting, like become see-through for a split second.
Flickering.
What?
Like a visual glitch, a rendering error in the simulation. Or maybe just tired eyes? Stress?
Could be. No-clip IRL is what the intern wondered, briefly ignoring physics.
It definitely fits the glitch narrative.
Yeah.
But yeah, simple explanations exist too.
Then there's testimony. #2, the vanishing violation. A traffic cop pulls over a big movie star, writes an e-ticket, and after a brief chat, the ticket just disappears from the device. Gone.
Whoa, a targeted deletion. A reality rollback just for that ticket.
Or maybe the system just crashed at the perfect moment. Super convenient timing, if so.
If reality is information, manipulating that info, like deleting a file, becomes, well, thinkable. At least in this framework. But yeah, tech fails too.
Okay, and testimony, #3. The impossibly profitable plunge. A billionaire's investment in some South American mine was tanking, looking like a total disaster. Then, bam, a totally unexpected, massive geological discovery on that exact spot. Suddenly, it's worth billions.
That does sound fortunate. Extremely fortunate.
Was it just crazy luck, unforeseen market volatility, or something like typing in a cheat code, admin spawn resource node?
Right. You hear stories like that. And while luck exists, the sheer scale and timing sometimes make you wonder about orchestration.
These stories really feed into that feeling, don't they? That there's something else going on. And it connects straight into conspiracy theories, doesn't it?
Absolutely. These ideas of dev mode or VIP status echo so many themes in conspiracy theories. This idea of a hidden elite playing by different rules.
Yeah, the Illuminati, Bilderberg Group, you name it. Even, lizard people running things from behind the scenes.
The details change, but the core is often the same. A select few have secret knowledge, secret power, and they manipulate things.
It's like people see these advantages, these buffs the elites seem to have, and they try to explain it. Maybe conspiracy theories are just attempts to map out that hidden power structure.
It's certainly one way to interpret the persistence of these narratives. People are trying to make sense of perceived unfairness and immunity.
And we have to be careful, of course. Some conspiracy theories are genuinely harmful, totally baseless, but many seem to stem from that core feeling that the powerful live in a different reality.
Even things like Marxist critiques of class control, how the system itself is designed to benefit the ruling class, you could almost see that as VIPs designing the game mechanics.
Totally. And that leads to our last listener story, testimony, #4, the code at the summit. A server at some high-powered meeting claims they overheard people talking about adjusting parameters for the lower quartiles and trying to avoid a cascade error.
Wow, that sounds specific.
Yeah, less like policy talk, more like programmers debugging code, right?
That specific language, if accurate, really does blur the lines. Is it just jargon or something?
Yeah.
More literal in this context.
Makes you pause, doesn't it? But okay, we have to bring it back down to earth. The mundane explanations, the patch notes from reality.
Right. The less exciting, but potentially more realistic reasons for these disparities.
So, patch note 1.0.1, systemic privilege module activated. This is the official story. Stuff like your race, gender, where you were born, the wealth you start with, it gives inherent advantages.
Like legacy code from the early versions of society.
Right.
Built-in biases that give some people boosts, easier access to the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah. Then, patch note 1.0.2, Wealth inequality parameters. This covers inherited wealth, how money makes money through compounding returns, access to better education, social connections.
And crucially, often reduced consequences for mistakes when you're wealthy. Plus, the observation that there doesn't seem to be a wealth cap programmed in.
Seems not.
Right.
And Patch Note 1.0.3, psychological trait correlations. Apparently, certain traits being conscientious, emotionally stable, feeling in control, high self-esteem, they correlate with higher income.
Correlation, not necessarily causation, of course. And those traits can be influenced by privilege, too. But they're presented as, soft skills you can grind.
Unless you just inherit wealth, which seems like a pretty good skill, too.
Seems effective, yes.
And finally, the official dev comment on hard work pays off mechanic. They basically admit, yeah, hard work doesn't always equal success. Especially if your spawn conditions, your starting point, were tough, or you lack network access. Their explanation.
Let me guess. It's a feature, not a bug.
Close. Challenging gameplay.
Ah, right. That puts a nice spin on systemic inequality. It highlights that effort happens within a system, and the system isn't fair.
So there it is, the boring explanation. Complex systems, historical unfairness, luck, psychology, no cheat codes needed, just the way it is. Which is, honestly, kind of depressing.
The mundane explanations lack the glamour of simulation theory, but they point towards very real, very addressable issues in our society.
So back to the big question, hacking the Matrix or reality premium subscription?
It's still up in the air, really. Even Bostrom, the guy who started much of this recent wave, isn't totally convinced we are in a simulation.
And does it matter in the end? If this is a simulation or just regular, messy reality, maybe the goal is the same. Try to make the game better, fairer, more interesting for everyone playing.
I think that's a really solid takeaway. Regardless of reality's ultimate nature, working towards fairness and justice seems worthwhile. Like Chalmers said, even a computed reality is still a reality.
But you can't deny the depressing plausibility of the mundane stuff. Privilege, inequality, network effects. Maybe that's the real glitch. Not individuals cheating, but the system itself being bugged.
The idea that the system's structure is the core problem is a powerful one. It shifts focus from individual cheats to the rules of the game itself.
But you know us here at NPC Energy, we're always going to have a soft spot for the weird explanation. We like the idea of reality occasionally hiccuping.
Embracing that weirdness, that imaginative angle, can definitely shake up our thinking, which is always good.
So keep them peeled. Watch for those little anomalies, those rendering errors. Question the impossible success stories. Was that sudden windfall just luck? Or maybe a respawn?
Stay curious, stay observant. It's always a good approach.
And hey, even if it is all a simulation or just super complex, your choices matter. Your interactions, your dialogue options. Go explore, talk to people. Maybe you'll unlock a new quest line you didn't expect.
Individual agency, even within constraints, can still create ripples and change things.
Okay, that's about all the processing power we've got for this simulated journey on the NPC Energy podcast. So, what's your take? Are the elites hacking the system, or did they just get really, really lucky spawn points?
Let us know what you think.
Find us on the network's Twitter, Insta, The Void, at NPC Energy Podcast. Share your own glitches.
NPC Energy was written and hosted by me, produced by producer name, with reality debugging by reality debugger name. Our theme music is Digital Ghost in the Machine by theme music artist name. Big thanks to Nick Bostrom, David Chalmers, and, anyone who's ever accidentally no-clipped through a wall, metaphorically or otherwise. And remember, question everything, especially if it seems too perfect. Stay glitchy, everyone.